Hey guys, I'm back and we have a brand new beta 1.8.0 patch for Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, and this thing is absolutely huge with the amount of stuff that is going to be changed and fixed. And this is going to be a pretty long video because we're going to go through most of the important stuff. I haven't even completely read through it, but what I have seen is it's pretty nice. And we're going to skip through. We're going to go ahead and start right now. Got a whole bunch of single player crash fixes. We're not gonna go through each one of those. We're gonna start right here with in performance. We have several performance fixes also for single player. Save load, some more localization, all that stuff's good. We have a bunch of new. Let's go ahead and start with art. We'll start reading it right here. It says, we'll skip this first one. We got 4 new battle scenes. We have 6 new town scenes, 7 new outer meshes for existing town scenes, 5 new Azrai shoulder pieces, 6 new Valandian shoulder pieces, 6 new Azrai helmets, 4 new Azrai body pieces, Empire cape, some more pommels for the maces, and some other visual fixes. So that's all great. We have some animation stuff. Yeah, just some random. I'm not gonna go through that. We got some campaign map, improved performance, improve some campaign camera behaviors, fix some bugs in relation to party teleporting, floating, and rotation, improve the army leader and army member visual location algorithm. Army members will now converge when moving in narrow places. Party banners will now spawn near the settlement and castle walls once a party enters it. Now we'll get to the UI changes. So this is getting some really cool stuff here. The first thing is it says it introduced new scene notifications to give more weight to events. They can open automatically or be triggered with a circle notification. It happens for generic newborn, marriage, heir coming to age, death from old age, main hero dies in battle, clan member death, 2 variations, joining a kingdom, creating a kingdom, kingdom destroyed. So that's all great. We needed some more things to make you feel like to kind of give more weight to, all the little things that happens when you're playing. As everybody knows, marriage it was just pretty much just a little pop up. Your kid's born, just a little pop up, to the right, just a little icon. So this is all awesome here. We really needed this stuff. I'm eager to see it. For the main storyline, which I don't even do anymore, it says there's supporting faction defeated, finding banner pieces, pledge allegiance, conspiracy, declaring dragon banner. So there's more stuff with the story too if you choose to play the campaign mode in native. Okay, it says settlement values within the encyclopedia are now restricted to settlements that you are near, that are within your kingdom, or that have a clan member inside. So this is kind of like that fog of war feature like that I remember being in the Clash of Kings mod where you didn't have access to all the information. I I think it should probably probably be a something in the settings where you could toggle this on and off, but I understand it and I don't think it really have that big a deal. It's not going to negatively affect my gameplay, but it is it is cool if you think about it. You wouldn't, if you were just some scrub, villager just entering the world, you wouldn't know everything about every single, every single kingdom, every single lord in the whole world just by clicking. There wouldn't be a book you had access to, so I could deal with it. The next thing is it's introduced a new hero deaths in combat difficulty option and moved enable birth and death to a separate module. 3 available options that can be changed during gameplay: disable all battle deaths, disable battle deaths player only, and enable all battle deaths. Enable birth and death will now be only visible during character creation in the birth and death options module, and module is selected in the launcher. If the module doesn't exist, the default value is enabled. So just more options with the whole death system. Order of battle configurations are now saved separately for siege and field battles. Organization or organized gameplay options, tabs, contents in the option screen. Gameplay options are now shown under control, visual, camera, user interface, and campaign categories. Improved phrasing for clan members' current behavior. While on cheat mode is enabled, opening a default dismiss mode party screen will now show all troops defined in the game on the left side. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of scan through. A lot of this stuff isn't huge, but it's worth reading for you guys that love and play this game like me. Okay, some change the level, blah blah blah. We're just gonna we're gonna skip down. You can go through and read this stuff. None of this stuff is super huge, but it's a lot of good stuff worth noting. I mean, I'm sure it all makes it all better. So we're gonna keep on going down. We got some other fixes, a bunch of bug fixes right here. And now we're gonna go on down to combat. This is huge, also. I mean, people have been like, I'm a modder. I'm the creator and lead developer of Realm of Thrones. If you don't know already. So a lot of people have been modding these values to make it the way they want to. You got all kinds of realistic battle mods and all this stuff to make armor more effective. They finally added it to the game, and it sounds pretty good. It says armor effectiveness improvements. Reduce the armor coefficient from 100 to 50. In transition, one armor now provides 2 health points against blunt attacks. Reduced blunt damage, pure damage coefficient from 1 to 0.4. Increases additional armor effectiveness against blunt damage from 0 to 0.25. These changes will increase the effectiveness of mid to late game armor against blunt damage to make it feel more meaningful investment. So now, the better armor you got, of course, the more damage is going to be absorbed. So you can take more. So the bottom line is, when you get a good armor late game, it's worth spending the money now where it might not have been before, because you'll be able to take a few extra blows, and we'll find out exactly the effect if it's going to be. But it sounds like you're going to be able to take twice as many blows possibly as from having no armor, or having whatever. Say if you got a armor rating of 50 now, then with that same armor in 1.8.0, you should be able to, by what I'm reading, possibly take twice as many blows, twice as many arrows as you would. So we'll see how that all works out. And it also says, all combat mechanic effects, knockdown, knockback, dismount, are now decided using a standard and deterministic model. All weapons that can apply these combat mechanics effects will have a relevant flag, like knockdown, can dismount. These flags are displayed on weapon tooltips. To apply any of these effects, an attacker should now deal enough damage to exceed a threshold of damage, which is computed at the maximum hit points of the victim times its resistance percentage against the relevant effect. Athletic skill will now increase resistance percentage against knockdown and knockback effects. Riding skill will now increase resistance percentage against thrust dismounts and hook dismount effects. Certain attacks might reduce these resistance by a penetration amount. All perks which provide chance-based knockdown or knockback effects are replaced with those increasing penetration of the same effects. Added light crossbows. They can be set on the move and are also usable on mounts with a perk. Decrease the damage of blunt weapons by 10%. Spike clubs now deal piercing instead of blunt damage. Thorn axes now deal bonus damage against shields. So all this stuff sounds really great. Can't wait to see the effect on battle. If it makes battles not be so, not be so quick. Kind of just make the overall experience not fly by so quick and look more realistic. I'm really excited about all this. Now we're going down to battles and sieges. Adjusted disorganized state penalties in the events which triggers this state. After a fight or when leaving an army, parties will be in a disorganized state for 6 hours. They will move 40% slower and have 20% less battle morale. In addition, if the player leaves some men behind in order to get away from a fight, this will be applied to the opponent. Missions that do not involve the entire party, clearing hideouts, alleys, prison breaks, will not cause a disorganized state. Okay, in battle, implemented an improved system for spawning reinforcements in battle. This is huge. This is one of the main reasons I don't even care for super huge battle parties. I like battle sizes. Anything over 1,000 has been annoying for me because the reinforcements has been so crappy and it don't make sense. It's like whoever's side you're closest to, the advantage just, I mean, goes through the roof. I mean, because you're right on top of their spawn point. So it says reinforcements will now always spawn near the deployment. Will not now. It says reinforcements will now always spawn near the deployment boundaries of the battle. The initial wave of troops always spawn on the original path with respect to the position of the battle on the campaign map and the battle size. There are 2 new spawn paths that reinforcements can spawn on. One path counterclockwise to the original path and one path clockwise to the original path. Reinforcements will pick the safest spawn path of the 3, with the safest spawn path being the one furthest away from the enemy. The improved system prevents the camping of spawning points by the enemy, as well as the spawning of troops in the middle of an active fight. Fixed a bug in the reinforcement reserves computation, which created various problems during reinforcement spawning. So this is all good. So they're going to be coming in from the sides. I'm assuming that the defenders, because both sides is going to have people spawning in the battle. So I'm hoping what don't happen is that both, say that you're right in the middle of the battlefield, I'm hoping that both the defenders and, the attackers and defenders don't spawn in the same spot. I hope they still spawn opposite. So, depending on the position of where the most troops are, if everybody's in the middle, the counterclockwise or orientation or whatever might be the best spot for both. But we'll see how this all works out. Let's see, changes the AI so that it now uses the formation's total power, including all unspawned troops, to decide battle tactics. Fixed a bug that prevent troop transfers between formations with troops that are closest to the target formation order position. Fixed a bug that caused the column arrangement to break after a few movement orders in the deployment phase. Fixes a bug that caused caravan objects to be seen as usable objects in a caravan battle. Okay, we're getting to siege, and this is getting really good now because the sieges and stuff has been jacked up for a while. It says, it fixed a bug that caused the AI in siege to deploy an unnecessary number of men to defend the gate despite there being breaches elsewhere. Fixed a bug that caused troops to defend the wrong entry points in a siege, most commonly experienced in scenes where ladders and siege towers have different wall segments to attack over. In sieges, defender troops wait in a safe location before going to fight off the attackers on the wall. Previously, this move didn't happen fast enough. Now the defenders move to position to defend earlier. Good. So they're not waiting till the guys get up on the wall to run out there and hit them. They should be right there getting them, when they're the most vulnerable, getting right off the ladder. Getting them as they're coming up the ladder. That's when you take them out one at a time. So that's the way it should be. That's the way Warband was. So they should be right there. There should be a wall of humanity, not waiting for them to get their footing. So they fixed a bug that caused troops to try to raise and climb a non-existent ladder after being given an order. Fixed a bug that prevented defending armies from opening the castle gates after being given a charge order. There was no battering ram or on the other side. Improved the system that picked troops for transfer between formations and sieges, reducing meaningless back and forth running. Fixed a bug that caused newly spawned attacking reinforcements to stand at their spawn. Improved behavior in siege battles with a small number of attackers. Instead of trying to operate several siege machines, they will focus on a single siege weapon or breach that they regard as their easiest entry point. Fixed a bug that caused the gate state to get stuck in open. If the defending formation lost all of its troops at the same time they closed the gate, this would cause attackers to stand behind the castle gate, unable to open it. Fixed a bug that caused the attacking AI to split formations and transfer troops as they were assaulting the walls, causing troops to walk between wall and gate. See that all the time. Additionally, troops are no longer called from far away to use siege machines when they are in convenient locations. Fixed a bug that prevented the player from taking over command of formations in army sieges where the player is the general. The other range siege weapon operators now replace the pilot if the pilot dies or leaves. Fixed a bug that caused the player to be assigned to the detachment, like siege engine or archer positions, during the order of battle deployment screen. Agents no longer wield their weapons when going for ammo or when switching positions while using ranged siege weapons. After capturing a settlement with siege, besieger parties will now transfer garrison troops to the settlement evenly, excluding the player's party. Fix the bug that caused lords not to donate troops to garrisons after capturing a settlement. Fix the bug that allowed for the continuation of a siege even after receiving the settlement through other means. Fix the bug that prevented sieges from ending due to the defending side awaiting reinforcements and the reinforcements not spawning. Fix the bug that prevented the usage of the party engineer skill while setting up the siege engines. This is all great. The we'll see how it all works. It all sounds good written on paper, but I mean, the proof's gonna be in the pudding. When we get out there and we see those guys just doing some stupid shit, we'll know, or it'll be fixed and we'll be happy. We just have to. This all just right here. This all look. I mean, sounds huge. Okay, the character development system. You can now reset your character and companion's perk assignments through the arena master for suitable price. The generic tavern NPCs can also point this out. Can also point this out as a tip. So that's cool. It's not nothing's permanent now as far as your perks. So I mean, if you make a bad decision, you can reset and do it. There's usually like in like Witcher or just about all games now. There's some kind of item or something you can get to reset everything, and then you can just reallocate your stuff. So that's cool because people make mistakes, put perks and crap that aren't useful, or they go after a perk and they fill it and put it all in on a perk, and then they find out that perk wasn't worth it, and then they're like, dang, I didn't put 4 perk points right here for nothing. So that's really cool. Overhauled the equipment selection system for Born Heroes so that it takes many parameters into account, such as culture, traits, hero types, etc. Improves the way NPC child skill and traits levels are calculated. The child now receives skills and traits periodically instead of all at once when reaching adulthood. Balanced scouting skill experience gains. Balanced combat skill gains. Balanced combat perks related to throwing and ranged weapons. Balanced athletic skill gains. Balanced riding, overhaul leadership. A whole bunch of just balancing and overhauls of the way you receive experience and stuff. So this is all good. Let's see if we can kind of a bunch of perks have been fixed. A lot of stuff, some trade, just several other bugs have been fixed. We're gonna go on down to clan and party. Improve the clan management via the clan screen. You can now exchange the leader of your clan party. You can assign a new party leader for a clan party, and the party leader has died. You can recall a clan leader to your member to your party if they are staying in a settlement. You can send a clan leader to stay in one of your towns or castles. All clans will now assign a party leader if the party leader has died and there's no one available. All clans will change their party leaders if there's a better one available. Heroes will be teleported with some delay according to their distance from the teleportation target. This is cool too right here. It's just kind of put in here. Introduce marriage offers, which will be received via circle map notifications for single clan players. So that's cool. You'll just be walking around the map and you just pop up on screen and one of the lords will want to marry his daughter to you. So, you don't have to, instead of you initiating everything, they're initiating. So that's a really huge thing. It's just kind of just put there that if you skim by it, you won't even realize it. That's really cool. Hero party leaders now have preferred troop types, rebalanced and companion skill traits. So the native companions will all be rebalanced, and fewer scouts is what it says. Improve the campaign party AI to prevent zigzagging in the same spot. Huge. I mean, that's huge. I mean, there's so much zigzagging going on. Improve the campaign party AI path selecting for decisions. So their target and path is going to be it's going to be, should be fixed, and so this is huge. Improve the campaign party area path selection, so they're going to pick the correct route to get to where they want to go. And the next one, improve the logic that calculates initial spawn and target positions for parties. So huge. I mean, this is, if they're able to pick a target that makes sense and then path their way to it effectively, I mean, that's huge all in itself. Improve the logic that calculates initial spawn and target positions for parties. Fix the bug that prevents parties from buying enough food. Yeah, them going. Yeah, they never have enough food to make it to where they're going. Fix the bug that caused the player party to be non-responsive to player input in the campaign map. Fix the bug that duplicated the main hero's equipment on succession. Fix the bug that caused troop upgrade values to show incorrect and negative results at the end of the battle. Now we move on to armies. Improve the campaign map AI. It's huge. Adjusted decision score calculation of patrol, defend, and besiege stances to increase the siege success rates and aggressiveness of the AI parties. So they're going to pick targets that make sense, that they have a better chance of actually succeeding in taking the thieves. No more stupid decisions. By this, I mean, this is huge. I mean, AI for me, and especially on the, hopefully, I'm sure this all will transfer to mods with custom maps too, but the AI decision making is horrible. And I'm so excited to see these fixes to native, and hopefully, even if it just helps on native, on custom maps, you know, even a fraction of what it'll help on native, I mean, it'll be a huge help. AI armies can now target and besiege the same settlement simultaneously to aid each other. So two big, huge armies could hit the same spot up now and join forces. That's huge and makes sense. Noble parties now buy and carry more food to provide enough food supplies for their armies. Great. Increase the minimum party size requirements for parties to join an army from 40% to 60%. I mean, it makes sense. 40%, you're reeling. Improve the cohesion boosting behaviors of armies. They now boost their cohesion when on important tasks like defending or besieging. Great. Armies with less than 30 cohesion disband themselves if they decide not to boost their cohesion or don't have enough influence to do so. Armies disband themselves if all active wars of their faction are over. Great. Yeah, if there's not at war, there should be no stupid armies running around. Seem like they'd be saving their influence for something important. The creation chance of an army decreases with each active army. The maximum a faction can have is 5. This is done so that there are fewer but bigger armies. Armies now assemble near a friendly settlement that is closest to an armies now assemble near a friendly settlement that is closest to the target enemy settlement, reducing the travel. That is huge too. This is great. So now what they'll do is, instead of Mace Tyrell gathering his army in Highgarden when he wants to attack, you know, when he wants to attack Dragonstone, he'll go all the way over to, you know, to Tumbleton, to his kingdom's closest settlement to there, and build his army there. So that way, when he gets all his huge giant 2,000 man army, he'll have less walking distance and less, you know, since it takes such a long time for a huge army to walk. So that's great right there. Okay, where we at? I lost my spot. Inviting a party of an army is no longer possible if the party is besieging or raiding. Fixing a bug that caused armies to wait outside of a settlement instead of starting a siege of the players in the settlement with few troops. Fix the bug that allowed the player to ask if a clan's caravan to join their army. Kingdom and diplomacy. Introduce mercenary offers, which will be sent to the player by faction rulers. Mercenary offers can be accepted without talking to the faction ruler. Great. Another example of the game interacting with the player instead of the player always having to do all the initiation of conversation, everything. Huge. I mean, excellent. We need more interaction. It's got to be back and forth. It can't be just a one-way conversation. It's got to be dialogue, not monologue. I love these changes. Introducing vassalage offers, which will be sent to the player. I haven't got this far. This is all new to me. Introduce vassalage offers. This is huge. I mean, you can just be wandering the map and just say, as far as my mod, and then, you know, Tywin Lannister offer you vassalage. I mean, I wonder if they'll even. It says these notifications act as an invitation to join the faction ruler for a discussion of potential vows. I wonder if they'll offer you like a thief or something if you join. I mean, it would be. There's all kinds of possibilities here. I mean, but this is huge. I mean, this is already what 3 new things that where the game is trying to interact with the player instead of just waiting to be interacted with. So this is huge. I love all this stuff. Fix the bug that allows allowed eliminated clans to participate in decision. Fixed a bug that caused no gold to be received when accepting a prisoner ransom offer. Fixed a bug that allowed the player to grant a fief, which is part of an ongoing ownership vote. That was some little thing people take advantage of right here. They was giving away stuff and then were granted to get double the relation and stuff with people. So they got rid of that, little thing. Economy and trade. Adjusted the supply and demand of various trade goods, improved the viability and longevity of trade gameplay, made caravans and workshops more profitable as well as more risky investments. So I'm curious how they made workshops more risky. But caravans have always been risky. I'm curious how they made workshops more risky. So read more about the extensive economy and trade changes here. So there's a whole nother section of just extensive economy changes. So we don't got time to go into that, but just the word extensive means a lot of changes. Added the Camel Ranch village type, improved the target settlement selection algorithm for caravan parties, so caravans should do stuff that makes sense. Fixed the bug that prevented caravans from differentiating between items with different modifiers. Fixed the bug that caused caravan parties to join sieges. I never saw that, but apparently it happened. We got some crafting stuff that I'm not really going to go through. I'm sure it's probably some good stuff, a bunch of additions. Settlement actions. Okay, and just settlement actions. Let's go ahead and talk about this. It sounds good. Lowered the upgrade chance of recruits. You can now hire tavern mercenaries through the menu instead of having to go into the into the actual tavern. The ransom your prisoners menu option no longer ransoms prisoners that are locked in the party screen. Notables in towns and villages are now fixed number wise. They're previously dependent on prosperity and hearth rates. The player clan now needs to be at least clan tier 3 to request a meeting in castles and towns. To request a meeting in castles and towns. So you can't even talk. You can't even talk to the people, is what I'm assuming. You can't even talk to the lords unless you're clan tier 3. Geez, that's going to be tough. Unless you see, I guess you have to catch them in the field. Enables playing board games and clan members to improve, with clan members to improve the board game logic. Improve the follow logic for clan members. 10% of the prisoners in all settlements will now be sold daily to prevent dungeons. This is another huge one that if you don't really play the game, you would just kind of just breeze right by. 10% of the prisoners in all settlements will now be sold, so you don't have to worry about the dungeons being full all the time. So that's huge because they're always full late game, and you can, when you're wanting to dump these prisoners, you can't even dump them. So that's huge. Fixed the bug that caused the garrisons to starve even though there were food. Fixed the bug that allowed the player to enter the enemy settlement without disguise. Fixed the bug that caused settlement continuous projects to show incorrect bonus values. Fixed the bug that caused an interact banner to be displayed. Fixed the bug that allowed players to shoot the horse training area targets. Fixed the bug that prevented the player from attacking the hideout. Fixed the bug that made Conan board game difficult. Fixed the bug that caused the prison break prisoner to spawn at an unreachable point. Fixed the bug that caused tournaments to be created after another tournament had just finished in the same town. And it looks like we got a bunch of quest and issue stuff. Okay, let's see, update. Bunch of bugs and a bunch of missions. We're not gonna go through all that. I don't particularly see any real new ones on here. Or maybe I'm missing them, but we're not gonna read that. Conversations and encounters. Improved the recognition of the player by NPCs in dialogue. If player has high or low relation with an NPC, but they are not famous, the NPC still knows their name. For example, NPCs should know who has been attacking their villages and caravans. Yes, I agree. Improve the NPC comments and dialogues when the player becomes a mercenary. Improve the NPC conversation with workshop employees to flow smoothly and provide more information. Fix the bug that causes freezes while talking to lords. Fix the bug that causes encounter to open per party instead of together. So that's all great. Anything to more personalize your experience with the individual lords. Anything to make talking to the people meaningful instead of just generic is always great. And here's several other things to see. Some others: change many troops, items, and item names. Renamed custom battle hero. Fixed a bug that gave horses. Added age added, blah blah blah. So there's a bunch of other stuff. We got some multiplayer stuff that I'm not gonna go through. I don't I don't do multiplayer. Maybe I will in the future, but I'm not gonna go through all that. Here's some more. We can go down here to the both. We got some crashes. We got some art, audio, some UI. We talked about a lot of the UI stuff. I'm sure there's probably some other stuff in here, but we're not gonna go through it. Some fixes, some more performance animations. Here's some more combat stuff. We're not gonna go through the I'm a modder and this all stuff. There's some great stuff in modding too. I mean, skins, custom humanoid skeletons. The map is no longer, you don't have to use the little map fix module for the height map. I mean, some great changes from modding. But yeah, that's about it. I'm loving this. To me, this is probably the best patch ever. Just with the amount, from what it says on paper, this is game changing. With the armor ratings getting changed, the combat AI, the army AI, the encounter, the AI kingdoms and lords interacting you through, you know, mercenary clans, try marriage proposals, vassalage. This is all huge, and this is, I mean, the screens where, you know, the marriage uh, little screens, the death, all the animations, all the stuff, instead of just being a little icon to the side, we actually gonna get to see an actual wedding and actually see dude, you know, a funeral with dude in the casket. It's all great. So man, I'm loving it. Hope it all ends up as good as I hope and as it says right here, and as much as I think it's gonna be in my head. So that's all I got for you. Stay tuned for more content. Thanks for watching. Until next time.